Welcome to my first video. Today I will explain to you the 3 ways you can reform the Roman Empire in Crusader Kings 3, as there is some confusion around the topic and the ways to restore Rome. So, the way I got the information to make this video was from my own testing and from the Crusader Kings 3 wiki, which I will link down in the description for you to see if you have any questions. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that only a character holding either the Byzantine Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, or the Empire of Italia can access the decision to even restore the Roman Empire. So if you, for example, are doing a world conquest of Scandinavia, you're going to have to usurp the tile or create any one of these 3 tiles. Although it may seem like a simple way, just taking a decision, it's not as simple as that, as either any of the 3 decisions has special requirements that are different from each style and different in other stuff from one another. So for that, I will divide the video in 3 parts. In each part, we'll cover in depth the decision each empire tile gets for restoring Rome, explain the requirements, the changes on the map, and special changes depending on certain factors and the experience of restoring Rome as any of these tiles. So, first we will start up with the universal requirements for all 3 decisions. You have to be an adult, you have to be an independent ruler, you have to be feudal or clan, you can't be tribal, and those are like the simple ones. Now you get the point. Now we're gonna start with the actual that you have to pay attention for. You're going to have the max level of prestige. So you gotta start banging some emperor's wives or start creating the fuck ton of tiles you're gonna get by while getting the duchies required to restore the Roman Empire. Talking about that, now this is the time where I show you the map. Okay, so this is the map that you're seeing right now are the counties you need to restore Rome. This was posted on the Crusader Kings subreddit by the user right on screen. Disclaimer, I don't know if he was the original maker of the map, but this is where I got the information from. As you can see, for restoring Rome, it's not that much. You can also see that these counties, like I said before, are duchies. So in theory, you could just use the Conquered Duchy or Holy War Duchy, casus belli. But if you know anything about Paradox games, is that you know that they never go as planned, so you'll have to do a lot of bullshit eventually. So good luck with that. So now let's actually get started with the actual unique requirements for each decision each tile gets. We'll first start with the Byzantine Empire. The special requirements are as follows. Rome has not been restored by either the HRE or the Empire of Italy. You have to either be from Roman culture, have a Christian religion, or be a Greco-Roman religion. You don't have to be from Roman culture, as any culture group will work as long as you have the other 2 requirements, either being Christian or Greco-Roman. But depending from each culture group, it will change some stuff when restoring Rome. That I will explain later on. Now we will move on to requirements for the HRE or the Holy Roman Empire. The Roman Empire hasn't been restored by either the Byzantine Empire or Empire Italia. You have to own the HRE, of course, but you can't own the Byzantine Empire. I will explain this later on when we explaining the Italian part. You have to be from a Christian religion, so no Hellenic or pagan Norse HRE restoring Rome, like you could in theory do it by using the Byzantine Empire tile. And here it doesn't matter which culture group you are, since the only thing that you need is to be a Christian religion. And now I will explain by Italy, which by far has the most special requirements and the most tedious ones. Of course, Rome hasn't been restored yet. You have to own the Empire of Italia, but you cannot own the Byzantine Empire or the HRE. This is the case because each tile will take priority over the 3 tiles. It goes from the Byzantine Empire to the HRE and finally the Empire of Italy. So, if, for example, you serve the tile for the Byzantine Empire, it would take like priority, even though if it's not your primary tile per se, it will take priority in the decision tab. So you'll have to destroy the titles or give it away to restore Rome as the Empire of Italia or the HRE, for example, if you get the Byzantine Empire. And for the 2 final special requirements, as the Empire of Italia, you either have to be from an Italian culture group and be of a Christian religion, be of Italian group, or be Hellenic or Greco-Roman, or you have to be from Roman culture to access to take the decision to restore Rome. But there is also a catch. Before that, you have to take a decision called Reunite Italy, in which you basically have to control all of Italy and Croatia and parts of Slovenia. Because if you don't know, at the start game, Sicily and Croatia are the jure part of the Byzantine Empire. So you basically have to make them the jure part of your empire. It's another step. Now moving on, We will cover the effects after taking the decision, as there are a few special hidden ones that the game does not tell you, and there are also universal ones, just like the requirements. So the universal ones are: all of your empire tiles will be destroyed and merged into the Roman Empire if you own multiple tiles. For example, if you own the Byzantine Empire and own the Empire of Italia, both empires will be destroyed and will be replaced by the Roman Empire. You gain the perk Augustus, which disclaimer, I don't know if it's like this, but I think it's the same one you get when going down the prestige lifestyle, but you get a different text. And this perk which is going to be will receive every one of your descendants if they own the Roman Empire, and you gain the nickname the Glorious. Most importantly, you also get a free casus belli against everyone that holds territory that form part of the Roman Empire at its peak. Although keep in mind these are the Dutch casus bellis, but at least you don't have to waste any piety or prestige to use them, so you can be constantly at war. There are less special effects than requirements, so like I said, I will just speed run them. The Byzantines, if the capital is not in Constantinople, it will move there if you are Greek from the Greek culture group, or to Rome if you are any other culture group. The HRE will move the capital to Rome if it's already there. And if the Byzantine Empire still exists, the emperor gains 35 stress. With the Empire of Italy, the capital is moved to Rome if it's not already there. If you are from Greco-Roman religion, both the Byzantine Emperor and the HRE, if they still exist, gain 10 stress if they are zealous in Christian religions. Yeah, this is the most finicky one you could say. I don't know why it's in that, but it's just like a curiosity. Talking about curiosities, now I'm gonna do a section called curiosities, which it could count into the special effects category, but I just want to put it like here because I think they're more special in a way. For some reason, the wiki says that when you restore Rome as the HRE, the Roman Empire keeps the color and the coat of arms of the HRE. But this is not the case, as in the release the game. The coat of arms will just disappear and will be a blank. And now the coat of arms is the same one as restoring Roman Empire, but the color you keep the white color, which for me, from my personal opinion, it doesn't fit quite right. Another curiosity is that the metaphorics for the Byzantine Empire and Italy changes depending on a few factors. Starting off with the Byzantine Empire, if you are Greek and you restore empire as the Byzantines, you get this paragraph on screen. But if you are from any other culture group, you get this one. For me, it said Roman since my character was a Roman culture group, but I'll replace the culture group depending on what you are. Also, depending on what religion, this sentence will change. For example, if you're Christian, you get this sentence, but if you are from a Greco-Roman religion, you're gonna get this full paragraph, or I think any other religion. I didn't taste that. I didn't haven't tested that, but I think that's the case. This change also applies to the Empire of Italy, as the final paragraph is the same one with the Byzantines is basically the same. So that's about it. And to end the video, I will show you the clips I have for Restoring Rome for you to see the difference by yourselves and not like hearing me say it on paper. Uh, if you were to ask me, if you want to restore Rome just for the achievement, I would recommend as follow. If you want to have a fun experience, relax, easy game, or you are just a new player, just pick the Byzantine Emperor and in either start dates. You should have no problem with it. You're gonna restore it like in a few generations. I've seen people actually speedrun them in like one generation, like 50 years, something like that. So yeah, pretty easy. If you're a more experienced player, I would recommend doing as the Empire of Italia, or even create a Roman Hellenic character as the Byzantine Emperor. It will not be easy, but it's sure as hell restoring Rome as a Hellenic character, let me tell you. And unless if you're playing a certain family, I would advise not doing as the HRE because it's not worth it. You keep the white color, which I already explained, I don't think it quite fits, and you also have to deal with elective succession. So yeah, if I were you, I would try to avoid doing SDHRE as much as possible. That's basically about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that I helped you, that it helped you understand more on how to restore Rome and the requirements and the effects that it gets on the CK3 map. This was Defectus Gaming. Sign out.